To increase octane without spending a lot of this. It's essentially to make sure this doesn't happen. As we try to make more power, our engines generate more heat, and we need fuel that's more stable. Higher octane means it's actually less prone to detonation. The fuel is going to explode when we tell it to, not as soon as it gets into the chamber. It's an aromatic hydrocarbon consisting of a benzene ring with two methyl substituents. I have actually no idea what that means at all. It's the first sentence in Wikipedia, but to me, it comes in this blue can. It has an octane rating of 117. It's found in small quantities in airplane fuels and gasoline, and it's a solvent. It's also in similar to 2-lane, which has actually a little bit of a lower octane rating. Have lots and lots of people use this successfully without damaging their cars? Yes. Is it already in gasoline in small quantities? Yes. Have people messed up their cars doing this? Yes. Do you have to be very careful the way you mix it and the ratio you use? Yes. So I'm not really going to say whether it's safe or not. I know I've used it fine, but use it at your own risk. Do your own research. So here's where it gets fun or miserable if you hate math, but basically we're going to go through how we make the mixture. 2 rules of thumb here. 1, max 30% of xylene to your total fuel mixture. So let's say you're going to do this mixture that is going to net you 100 gallons of this fuel. Only 30 of those gallons could be xylene. Second rule of thumb, make sure you add at least 1 ounce of Marvel Mystery Oil for every 1 gallon of xylene. So in my example, I use 2 gallons of xylene. I'm going to add 2 ounces of Marvel Mystery Oil, and that's for lubrication. This stuff is very dry, and that's where you can start to run into problems. It can eat away at seals like fuel lines or injector seals. So you want to be sure to have that lubrication aspect of it. What's the formula for calculating octane? How do we know what kind of octane we're netting once we're done? So the way you do that is the top formula right here. Octane of xylene, 117, times gallons of xylene, again only 30%, plus octane of fuel you're using, times the gallons of fuel. So for the example problem we have here, the final mixture is a total of 17 gallons. 5 of which is pure xylene, that's 30%. So I'm timesing that by 117, and I'm adding it to 93 pump gas times 12 gallons of that equals 1701. Divide that by the total number of gallons. I'm going to have 100 octane fuel. And that's really the max you can get out of xylene with that 30% mixture. In my example in the video, I believe I show you mixing 1 gallon of xylene at a time, but my final mixture was 2 gallons of xylene, 4.6 gallons of 93 octane, because 2 is 30% of 6.6. That's my total mixture, and I added in 2 ounces of Marvel Mystery Oil. So be sure you understand this before you start getting into it.
Okay, so now that you understand the formula, kind of how we calculate the octane and the amounts that we're working with, we're going to go ahead and mix it up. And I actually got 2 of these gas tanks, cans from Walmart. They're like 16 bucks a piece. The spout sucks, but if you always use a funnel and just pour directly from the bottle, you'll be alright. Got the gallon I'm going to mix in. There's 2.66 gallons of 93 octane. And I'm going to throw 4 ounces of the Marvel Mystery Oil to help with that lubrication and protect the seals. One note is there's a metal cap that has to come off from the inside. You just hit it with a screwdriver, pop that off. And these things suck to pour out of. You have 2 options. One is pour it into a whole other container, like a big bucket, and then pour it into a funnel. I'm just using a giant funnel, and I turn it all the way upside down because it tries to leak down the side. It sounds like a stupid thing, but it's a real pain. Also, this is terrible stuff. If you read online, it can cause cancer and stuff, so you want to have a mask on, preferably large rubber gloves. I have latex gloves on and other gloves on top of that, so hopefully I'll be alright here. But I'm going to go ahead and get this can tilted back too, so I'm pouring vertical, and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this up and then shake it up. Okay, so we're pretty much good. I know some people have just poured it directly in the tank and say it's going to miss in the tank, but all I picture is this stuff, as we know, eats away at rubber, and if I pour it in just straight, I just picture in my head it going right to the rubber line, even though it's fuel rated. It won't be immediately diluted, so I prefer to pre-mix. I'm sure it's all good. It's not going to suck up a chunk of straight xylene and run it through the motor. It's always going to be a nice even mixture. Next step is draining the fuel tank of any extra fuel in there, just so we know we have that solid 100 octane throughout. And then tuning and seeing what we can do and have less knock. Sorry about the wind. I got the car up. I got jack stands under the front right side and front left side. Still have the jack here as well. I got it up high enough so I can get the gas tank underneath. So I'm going to be draining this as much as I can. I think, unfortunately, there's about 10 gallons in here right now. So if you can, do it while it's low, but I wasn't thinking I'm going to the track Wednesday. So I'm going to loosen it a little bit. What I did is I sprayed it with PB Blaster, and I also cleaned it as good as I can, so I'm not worried about a bunch of junk coming in off of this bolt. So we'll see how cleanly it comes out of here. I'll try to block the wind, but let's see how this works out. First, I'm just going to break the bolt loose with this not so much in the way, and then I'm going to use a box wrench to loosen a little bit, and hopefully it starts dripping out. Just a general rule, anytime you don't have to put your whole self under the car, don't do it. In this case, if this fell right now, it won't. There's jack stands up there, but nothing's going to really happen. I might bump my head on the bumper, but I'm not really putting myself too much danger. Okay, so you heard that. It broke loose. I'm cleaning a little bit more of the stuff. I can already see it start to drip. So I'm going to get my gas tank set up under here. Dripping in as we speak. Now with my box wrench I can loosen this a little more. What sucks is so much, because it's the surface tension, it comes down out of the hole and then sticks to the tank. This is just I wish they would have made this the low point. So much of the gas is just coming along the surface of the bottom. The gas ain't going in. So I'm going to see if I have, even that if you got all day, but that's kind of poor design. So I try to show this to you guys so you kind of know what to expect. I'm doing it for the first time. Never done before either, but I might just let that drip like that and go have a beer or something.
So that's pretty much it. I let it drain out all the way, and then obviously be sure to put that bolt back in, and then I filled it up. I was successful at the track. I was able to run higher boost without any knock, and bring timing up a little bit. So for me it worked. But again, do your own research, and good luck.